Ms. Pompa, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman Klein. Thank you, Chairman Klein, Ranking Member Miller, and all members of the committee for providing me the opportunity to present testimony this morning. My name is Delia Pompa. I am the Senior Vice President for Programs at the National Council of La Raza, or NCLR. NCLR, the largest national Hispanic civil rights and advocacy organization in the United States, works to improve opportunities for Hispanic Americans in the United States. In my role at NCLR, I oversee all education programs, including a network of over 100 charter schools. My work on public school reform is shaped by more than 35 years of experience leading local, state, and federal agencies and national and international organizations. I began my career as a kindergarten teacher and went on to serve as a district administrator and as assistant commissioner for the Texas Education Agency. I was formerly the director of the Office of Bilingual Education and Minority Language Affairs in the U.S. Department of Education, as noted, and my focus has always been on helping schools and teachers understand and respond to the needs of underserved children. In 2009, students of color represented 41.3% of all public school students. It's important to note that suburban schools added 3.4 million students between 1993 and 2006, with nearly all of this increase due to an increase in the enrollment of children of color. Given these demographic shifts, the academic achievement of students of color and other underserved groups of children becomes particularly important. Over the last 15 years, student achievement, as measured by the National Assessment of Educational Progress, or NAEP, has improved much too slowly for Hispanic, Black, and economically disadvantaged students. English language learners and students with disabilities have lost ground on NAEP after years of improvement. Addressing these challenges requires federal policy interventions grounded in the origins of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. The Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965 is a civil rights law enacted along with the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Similar to those laws, ESEA was designed to break down legal and social barriers to equal opportunity. Since then, our nation has made enormous progress in many areas of American life, including the elimination of Jim Crow laws, greater access to the ballot box, as well as the end of legal school segregation. However, challenges remain, and ESEA remains the main vehicle for addressing the needs of all children and subgroups of children. Early versions of ESEA relied almost exclusively on additional resources to schools serving poor students with no real performance standards. Low expectations and poor results pervaded many schools attended by Latino, African American, and other economically disadvantaged students. Before NCLB, the question was whether or not children with disabilities and English language learners could be educated. Now the question is, how can we prepare them for success in college and the workplace? While NCLB hasn't achieved everything we'd hoped for, there's no question that this change in mindset has been immensely important for these children and their families. Changes to ESEA must be undertaken with great care, with an eye toward the law's initial purpose to provide an excellent education to all children. The fact that changes to NCLB contained in the Student Success Act seem to be designed to address mainly the challenges that school administrators face in implementing current law is unacceptable to the civil rights community. Rarely in the debate has there been an emphasis on what children need in order to compete in a 21st century global workforce, what parents hope for their children, and what taxpayers would expect the school system to achieve with its taxpayer dollars. If this legislation is to make a positive difference in the lives of children, it must be improved in the following ways. We must require states to develop and implement college and career-ready standards, including English language proficiency standards. States, districts, and schools must be accountable for all students by setting progress targets and a time frame in which to provide results. Graduation rates must be disaggregated by subgroups and must include targets and a time frame in which to produce results. The comparability loophole must be closed. Gender and migrant status must be included in state and school district report cards. The cap on alternate assessments on alternate achievement standards for students with disabilities must be restored. And finally, English proficiency and achievement targets for ELLs must be maintained. In closing, some say that family poverty predetermines the academic prospects of millions of children, and that poverty must be eradicated before schools can be held accountable for helping children learn. We reject this notion. Our policies should ensure that all children have the opportunity to obtain an excellent education, irrespective of the neighborhoods in which they live, their parents' education level, or their family's income. We believe that a smart and robust federal role is necessary to achieve this. I look forward to answering any questions you might have. Thank you.